Finally, ITV set their sights on winning back the BBC's star attraction.
You'll be telling me next you've heard a voice from the other side.
I have. I have.
It was Lou Gray, but the money was no good.
Eric told me we've had this offer from Thames Television. And I said, how much? And he told me the sum. And I said, all right, we'll pay it. Now, but will you do 2 years for that money? And he said yes. Now, we both had quite a bit to drink by then. And I really forgot about it. I mean, they were great mates of mine. I mean, I was very fond of them, and I'd like to think they were very fond of me.
Although Cotton thought he had averted disaster, the lure of an enormous contract led to Eric and Ernie signing with Thames Television behind his back.
I'm not so sure that Bill Cotton was actually in the know, because I think he would have upped the money and pretty well equalled what the vast increase. I'm not too sure what it was, but I know it was pretty big, to go to Thames, you see. I think Bill, if he'd been given the opportunity, but I think at the time he found out, they'd signed up.
The phone went, and it was my secretary. And she said, I've got some very bad news for you. I said, what's that? She said, Morecambe and Wise have gone. And I said, gone where? And I really hadn't remembered the conversation. And she said, they've gone to Thames Television. And it was just like a divorce. I mean, I really felt very bitter.
Eric and Ernie's move promised a new challenge and more money, but there was a fatal flaw. The BBC refused to release the man who had masterminded their transformation.
Are you talking, welcome to Thames. We've been so looking forward to working with you. Come this way.
With a show like Morecambe and Wise, the hardest thing to assess is the effect of the writing, but it's crucial. And when Morecambe and Wise moved from the BBC to Thames, Eddie Braben, their writer, didn't come with them, and they were, I won't say at the mercy, but they had to work with the new production staff and new writers, and I don't think the effect was quite the same.
I didn't want to go to Thames. I couldn't see why we were going to Thames, because we had everything we wanted at the BBC. Production team, shows were going well.
I worked with you when you were on the other side.
You mean when I was like this? When we were like this? No. When you were with the BBC.
Oh. Is it all right to say the BBC?
Yes, it is all right to say the BBC. The BBC. Yeah, bring back comedy.
Eddie wasn't available, so we went backwards and repeated some of the old stuff. Eric was saying at rehearsals, oh dear, we seem to be doing much the same stuff.
They did 4 or 5 shows and realised that they weren't what they wanted, and they stopped and said, we won't do any more till Eddie is free of the BBC. And this is what happened. So I went to Bill Cotton's office and I headbutted him. I said, I'm going to Thames. He said, no, you're not. And he sort of, he got this soda siphon and got me on the back, just behind the ear, he got me here. And it was awful. That was why I went to Thames. When he hit me with the soda siphon, that was it. I said, I'm going now, Bill.
What do you think of it so far? Oh, that's a lovely attitude, that is.
By the time Braben joined them 2 years later, it was clear that Britain's best-loved comedy duo would never achieve the giddy heights they had on the BBC. What's more, the pressure of performing was adding to Eric Morecambe's health problems.
Eric devoted as much nervous energy to 2 or 3 shows a year as he used to devote to, you know, a weekly turnaround at ATV. So in effect, the strain on him was just the same. Just the same, even though their workload wasn't as heavy.
You could call him a worry guts, but I mean that was to the advantage of his performance, because he worried about his performance. But he probably didn't stop worrying, even when he was at home, really.
The comedian Eric Morecambe, who made millions laugh for more than 40 years, has died. He was 58. Tributes have poured in for the man who'd entertained 2 generations and survived 2 heart attacks.
The worry and the concern and the energy that he gave for everything cost him It's late in the end, really, you know. Eric really working so hard and worrying so much, stressful, you know.
Eric Morecambe's death symbolised the end of an era for the generation of entertainers who had made Britain a nation of television addicts. But while interest in them may have faded for a while, 20 years on, it's as if they've never gone away. Constant repeats of their shows, sketches and catchphrases, tributes and loving biographies all confirm their status as the pioneers of British television entertainment.
Racing driver extraordinaire James Hunt is profiled next Tuesday at 9. Coming up, the final page of Zadie Smith's White Teeth is about to turn. The prodigal son is back, and brotherly love is put to the ultimate test.